This is the Nerdy Things Podcast. This podcast contains strong language, adult themes, and poorly developed ideas. We apologize for nothing. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 56 of the Nerdy Things Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kevin. I am joined, as always, by Jules. Hey, Jules.
Heyo.
And by Tim. What's going on, Tim?
You have a suspicious look on your face, Kevin.
I'm always up to something.
I know. It's one of the things that keeps me uncomfortable around you, which I like.
Oh, good.
I don't like boring people.
So, two things. Tim, are you wearing a cardigan? And one, where are you right now?
I'm actually...
Is it snowing over there? I don't even know.
It's snowing. Yeah. So to answer three of your questions, I guess. Yes, I'm wearing a cardigan. Cardigan and t-shirt, rocking that style. I am in the same place that I always record, but the desk is turned 180 degrees.
I don't like it.
Normally, I pick it up and move it to the position in which I am normally every time, but there's too much crap in the room right now for that to happen. So I've got my little woman friend here to keep us company.
Oh,
in the back
hello.
There. Yeah. It's a painting that my wife bought at some point, like, I don't know how many years ago.
Oh, my God.
We just always hung it in the bedroom. And then, like, when she goes away, I'm like, this woman's keeping me company. She's just always here.
Turn it around.
Weird.
Never
Second,
happens.
Third question, it's snowing. Kevin's supposed to get maybe 5 or 6 inches. Up here, I might get a foot. I thought winter was officially over. We had like a 70-degree day, and now it's just biting us in the butt all over again.
Wow. I'm chilling over here with my Texas barbecue. That was a big thing on Twitter this week. Everybody's just talking about their barbecue, but, you know, Texas does it best. But anyways, yeah, pretty good week. I don't know. That was the thing. Everybody was talking about their shitty barbecue with like 2 pieces of fucking whatever of shit. And then Texas, we always have just a table of just barbecue.
We've hit a nerve. Like, Jules is apparently really sensitive about his barbecue, which makes me think it may not be the best.
I didn't know it was that bad everywhere else. I was like, I always get a table full of barbecue for $10. Like, what? What is this?
I thought, why are people barbecuing feces?
Anyways, we're talking about, when we get into nerdy news, what we do with the Nerdy Things Podcast, we talk about the nerdy news of the week. We have a lot of smaller news segment things that we thought would be interesting for this week. We take the best ones and we talk about them every week for the podcast. And then we get into a main topic. And this one, since it's Studio Ghibli Fest 2018, starts this month. Oh, probably Ghibli. I don't know. People pronounce it different. But we watched Spirited Away, and we're going to give our thoughts about it. We're going to talk about it later on in the episode. That's our main topic, if you didn't know already. So stay tuned for that, because one of the 3, maybe more, didn't really like the movie. We'll find out.
I love how I can't trust either of you for how to pronounce things. It's
right?
Really awesome.
Well, because everybody pronounces everything differently. GIF, GIF, Ghibli, Ghibli.
Yeah. But at least with the GIF, there's a right and a wrong answer, because it's not. It's not a giraffe. Wait, no, I screwed it up.
What are you talking about?
I don't look
giraffes at the zoo all the time.
I didn't buy you a birthday gift. All right, leave me alone.
I would appreciate it if you get me a birthday gift. They're way better.
I'm almost certain that's going to be what everybody tweets us about this episode. Just the pronunciation of GIF.
Studio
Before
Ghibli.
we get inundated with emails, I just want to mention I had a car accident this week.
Whoa.
I was on my way to work, and I am in traffic, as I always am. And I'm sitting there, and I had this thought, like, I'm going to get rear-ended. And 20 seconds later, I got rear-ended. And it's one of those things where, like, looking back on it, I felt like I could see it coming, but I'm pretty sure I have this thought a million times and then don't get rear-ended. And this is just the one I remember. But the best part of this is, after I pulled over, I'm talking to the woman, we exchange information, and I say to her, what happened? Like, I just want to know why you hit me. And she was like, oh, I looked down to take a sip of my coffee and didn't realize you had stopped so short. And I kind of looked at her and I said, okay, but I was at a dead stop for 20 seconds before you hit me. And she said, no, we were both moving. And I said, no, I was stopped. She goes, no, we were both moving. I just looked down for 1 second to sip my coffee. And I didn't tell her I have a dash cam. So I went back and reviewed the footage, and I was dead stopped for 20 seconds. And she had been behind me at a stop, but she was on her phone. I don't have that on the dash cam, but I saw her in my mirror. And then she got confused by the cars on either side of us moving and gunned it and hit me. Totally awesome.
Visit nerdythingspod at patreon.com for more details.
For dash cam footage of Kevin.
I will upload that later.
This sounds like the beginning premise of an anime, followed by a series of things that are unrelated and just happen without explanation.
Right. After I got hit, I got out of the car, ran into the woods and found a wood nymph. And we flew away into the battle where we were being shot at by creatures made of birds and people.
And then the shit monster came, and then...
I'd watch that. That sounds good. Sounds like something I know. No.
Boy.
Oh, God. We're going to talk about it later with Tim and all that. So don't forget, you can reach us on most social media at NerdyThingsPod. That's NerdyThingsPod. You can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily, and links to our merch for shirts and more. Links to YouTube to watch the podcast episodes, because we do those in video. Our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. And Kev, you can cut this if we didn't, but I think we got a voicemail, didn't we?
We did, actually. And if you just give me 1 second, I will pull it up. All right, there we go. So we got a voicemail this week from Tim Zinn from Australia land. And I'm going to play it.
Tim Zinn here.
Hey, nerdy boys. It's Tim Zinn here. Just wanted to say a massive congratulations to Tim on the arrival of his baby. That's so amazing. You're like a really intelligent and caring guy, and I think you're going to make an amazing dad. So all the best. Also, thanks for the shout out. Crocodile Dundee Award, aka International Friend of the Year. I'm completely honored. Thank you guys. Here's to year 2. All the best.
Yes. Nice.
Thank you, Tim, on multiple fronts. We appreciate all of your support and interaction. It's awesome. You're a good guy, and we are glad to have you on our team.
This is another thing we're going to put on Patreon, though. What Google Voice does when they try to transcribe what he puts up is amazing. So,
man, I had no idea.
That's going to be another reward. I will put that up on Patreon as well. I'll make sure Tim sees it.
Yeah, right now when you said Tim, I was like, oh, it was him? Oh, my goodness. I had no idea what it said. Congratulations. That's all I saw.
It translates it as Nikki Blaze. So from now on, Tim Zinn is known as Nikki Blaze. There's no two ways about it. I'm sorry, Tim.
Oh, man.
He's got to change his Instagram handle and everything. He's just going to be Nikki Blaze.
Cool. Yeah. So we love our texts. We love our voicemails, do all that good stuff. And you can also leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you can leave reviews. I think you can do it a whole lot of places on Google Play and stuff. But we have a new one that I'm going to read, and we need some more of those. So go ahead and leave us a review. If you're listening to us on iTunes, just go ahead and click our little thing, go to us, and just leave a review if you like it or if you don't, whatever. But this one is from Dumb All Over Podcast. And they say, best nerdy podcast out there. As this is 5 stars. As friends and former guests of the show, we recommend that anyone who is into all things nerdy listen to this show. It is the best in its business, and there are a lot in this particular business. Keep it up, guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So huge shout out to the Dumb All Over guys. And Kevin's been doing a lot of stuff over there on that podcast. So if you want to go check them out, it's super cool. You'll hear Kevin at least once a month talk about some nerdy stuff and get mad that they don't watch the nerdy stuff.
It's really fun to pick on Tom. There's 2 guys, Tom and Austin. Tom, very little pop culture knowledge. And so when you say something to him that literally anybody on earth would get, he has no idea what's happening. So that's pretty funny.
But in their defense, it was probably more like, keep it up, guys. Not keep it up, guys.
That's the way I read. I didn't.
Oh boy.
Why are you already
I took
starting
it
to
as words
hate
of
early? Jeez.
I appreciate the words of encouragement, guys. 5 stars. That's a 10. Nice job.
Yeah,
There we go.
99.5 out of 100.
Tamales?
Yeah.
Chili
Uh,
peppers?
top hats, the little top hats from Monopoly.
I'd give it 16 pop cultures. There we go.
So, okay, cool. All right, let's go. Nerdy news.
All right.
Nerdy news.
At 6:00. All right. So this week we have a little bit more news on the Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery app game. We got a trailer for it. So that's pretty cool. Actually, it looks kind of neat, but it looks also like it switches between like 40 different game styles and 16 different ways that it presents the graphics. So I'm a little concerned and confused because it definitely had like PlayStation 1 graphics at one point, and then like, you know, the same type of graphics you find in like Candy Crush for something else. And
Sure, it did look interesting. There was a whole I think like 2-minute trailer showing some of the, I don't know, they didn't say it was actual gameplay. You're gonna assume that it's actual gameplay of all the different
Well, you
games
could tell what
do.
I think what was actual gameplay and what wasn't. Like the beginning cutscene, clearly not actual gameplay.
Yeah. But it did show a lot of different scenes, a lot of different like mini games. You get to pick your own house, you get to do a bunch of stuff, you get to interact with other students, and it just looks really interesting. My only thing is we saw some spell stuff. Like you get to learn new spells, and then you see like a little rune of how maybe you're supposed to flick your phone or move your phone, since this is a mobile game. And they've tried that before and it wasn't the greatest to do. And hopefully, you know, the accelerometer nowadays is a lot more advanced. I'm pretty sure it is on all phones, but they've tried this way at the beginning where you fight somebody and it's kind of like rock paper scissors, and y'all do one of 3 different things, and a lot of times it wouldn't register, it would choose the wrong one. So that's my only concern.
I can't wait for the string of people that just break their phones trying to do this.
Yeah.
They're all like, and like we did with the Wiimotes when the Wii came out. Like we're gonna just see these embedded in things. We're gonna have broken phones everywhere.
Straps for phones are gonna come back. Yeah.
Right? No. God,
well, the technology you're talking about in those old games, Jules, there was a Harry Potter 1 game on the original iPhone. So, and that game continued through several generations. So the assumption would be that it's well more advanced than that. But did you get the impression that it was actually a physical movement, or that it was something you drew on the screen?
You see, that's what I saw too. That's what I thought, and my only hope was that that's what it was, and it wasn't just because they had talked about that before. We've heard some news before that it was going to be a spell where you move your phone, but you know what I did see was maybe a cursor or a little bit, but you know,
I'm
that's
seeing
what I hope.
a string of phone accessories that are wands with a tip that you can use on the phone.
Oh, a stylus.
You have to like awkwardly like hold the wand and like do the rune on your phone, but you got to get it just right. I'm predicting the future right here.
But
I will say, if you look at the Nintendo Switch and how its accelerometers work on the Joy-Cons, the potential is there for it to work if that were the case. I'm just kind of excited about, I mean, the cutscene graphics are really cool, and I'm sure those don't exist in the actual game, but just the animations themselves I thought were really neat. I was looking at it thinking, man, I can't believe I'm playing this kind of thing on a mobile phone now. Like, 5-6 years ago, that was reserved for a home console. So that alone was amazing. But it seems like there's a lot of stuff to do. Yeah. And I'm watching this, and I'm so excited for it. I mean, I've been excited for it already. We knew that. But when it gets to the end, it's like, pre-register for your invitation today. I went right to the damn website, put in my email, went back, put in my wife's email, and I'm one of those people that's like, pre-register today, and I wait, procrastinate, don't do it. It comes out, people try it, then I do it. No, I am doing this right now. As soon as this game's available, I'm downloading it from the App Store. I am playing this game. I am excited. This is gonna scratch my Harry Potter itch big time, I think.
Sure.
You're not as excited about the Universal Jurassic Park AR game, though, right?
I'm just as excited, and I haven't even seen anything about it. I told you guys last week, the age of augmented reality is upon us.
I just want to look through my phone, and there's some cool shit on the other end. And dinosaurs, sure.
I
Give
mean,
me more
I
dinosaurs.
get it, but I just don't know. Like, I hope this isn't just a reskin of Pokemon Go. That's all I'm saying.
It's not.
I really hope it isn't.
not.
I want something different. Like, I would really love.
I gotta
to see
name them all. No, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd love to see them take the idea of that, but make like a Legend of Zelda game where you would encounter like different towns with different things through the AR instead of just, oh look, there's a dinosaur at the water fountain, which is I think what we're gonna get here.
Sure. Or a Miyazaki AR game where you go to different towns of his many movies and you could discover No Face. You see all the characters. Are you excited about that one, Tim? Maybe?
I'm really excited for this Jurassic World AR game. I think, like I said, with the phone technology right now, optimizing for AR, for augmented reality, to put things in front of us, I think there's some really creative things that they can do now. And I am excited to see it. It could be a flop. It might be exactly what you're saying, Kevin. It might be boring, and then I'm going to be like, oh, son of a gun. But I have optimism that this will be a good time. And I as many things that they can theme these games after that I already like, the better. The Legend of Zelda idea, that's awesome. I think that'll be a fantastic idea. What would be really cool? What about a Where's Waldo game?
Oh my God. Yes.
How cool would that be?
They have some of those on Facebook where it's like a 360 view. And you have to find Waldo. But yeah, I mean, essentially with all these AR games, hopefully they're all going to be free. So, and they're going to be on our phone. So how easy is it to delete an app from your phone if you don't like it? And it's just like, oh, I'll try it out for first day. I mean, that's kind of how I was with Pocket Camp. You were talking about graphics. Now, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, that's a graphics game. But I tried that out for 2 weeks and that was super fun. And then you know what? I just deleted it. And I was like, all right, I'm done. So if it's not good, it's not that hard to get rid of it. And if you like it, then hell yeah, it's a new game to play.
I mean, the one cool thing that they've announced about this is you don't actually have to leave like your house to stroll around and find.
Oh, I'm sold.
Yeah, no, there is like a drone type thing built into it. So they've taken my complaints where I don't want to exercise and put them into the game. I'm in.
Cool. I'm down.
Bring me Harry Potter. Bring me Jurassic World. At my fingertips, interacting with reality. I'm in for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So they pretty much confirmed that Emma Stone was the original choice to play the villain in the Wonder Woman sequel, even though that job has now gone to Kristen Wiig. So,
oh, yay. When I read this the first time, I thought it was Emma Watson because Harry Potter's right before that. And I was like, whoa, Emma Watson. But still, I'm kind of like, whoa, Emma Stone. Like,
right? I think she'd be fine. Like, I think she'd actually do a really good job with the role because it's in the sequel to Wonder Woman. One of the villains, at least, is going to be this. I think it's Cheetah is her name. Yeah. But they chose Kristen Wiig. I think that she may be able to do it. She's taken some serious roles recently, so we'll see.
Emma Stone would have crushed it because she's a tremendous actress. She does comedy, she does drama, she does everything, and she gets into what she does. You see her on the lip sync thing with Jimmy Fallon. Oh my, she gets into it. So she would have been awesome. But when I think Emma Stone, the most tangential actress I think of is Kristen Wiig, clearly. They're just so similar in so many ways.
Would you care to name any of those ways?
No. So this is the thing that I don't get. I like Kristen Wiig. I think she's very funny. She carried Saturday Night Live on her back for 2.5 full seasons. There was nothing else going on that show except for her, and it was still watchable. But I don't see where you go. see the path. I don't see the roadway from Emma Stone to Kristen Wiig. Like, there's other actresses I think I would stop along the way. Now, Kristen Wiig may be really good in this role, but if this was your starting point, I just don't see how the journey winds and travels to Kristen Wiig as your next choice.
No, and do you think everybody's going to take her as a serious villain? Because that's where a lot of these superheroes kind of lack, or that's where, everybody's drawn to this movie because it's a good villain. Do you think everybody's going to be okay with her as this Wonder Woman villain?
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I mean, Patty
I
Jenkins
don't
chose
know.
her. That's the story as it
that's
goes.
exactly
Like,
right.
They went for Emma Stone, and then Patty Jenkins goes, no, I want Kristen Wiig. Okay, well, you did great the first time around, so I guess I defer to your expertise.
I mean, it could even be that she had two ideas. Let's go this way. No, okay, we're going this way.
Valid.
We'll have to see, because you're right. I do trust Patty Jenkins for this, and we'll have to wait till next year to figure it out.
I wasn't a super fan of the villain, by the way. I don't know
In the first movie?
Yeah, I just saw him from the Harry Potter series.
Right?
That's all. Yeah, he was just
David
super chill.
Thewlis.
Yeah, he's just
Oh,
super chill.
boy.
Whatever.
So an
Mr.
Illinois
Lupin
judge
would not kill anyone that way.
Yeah.
Well, he would. An Illinois judge has banned a 16-year-old boy from playing video games, violent video games, most violent video games, because he actually did say you can play Mario Kart, which I think is the most violent game out there. But
Clearly.
this kid, his school was basically threatened. They shut it down to verify the threat. He was getting tired of people on social media posting about this school shooting threat at his school, and he said, and I quote, "Y'all need to shut up about school shootings, or I'll do one."
Oh, he said y'all? He's from the South. Jeez.
Yeah, well, Illinois.
Mostly they are, Jules. I don't remember the last time we had a school shooting up in the Northeast, but
Oh boy.
Oh, so
Anyways.
this was one of those situations where you're on social media, it's out there. You don't say things like this. I don't care the situation. You just don't. And this kid is really he's not taking responsibility for this. So it was in poor taste. It was not a good joke. They don't keep guns in his house. The police
No.
this. So this wasn't a big threat, but still, you're an idiot, kid.
Yeah, sure.
Don't do that.
And can they do that? Can they ban? Apparently they can, right? He banned him from playing violent video. They took away his phone.
Away. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, is this school? Like, what? That's wild. Like, nope.
none of this seems real.
Right. Well, but you know what? We live in the darkest timeline, Tim. This is real. This is the same world where last week Rhode Island introduced a video game tax.
For more yeah.
It is a proposal, but still.
It's wild. Do I have to bring up the Back to the Future timeline where he skews? We skewed somewhere, and we're on the B timeline.
I really thought that vilifying video games by like Moms Against Video Game Driving happened. Like, I thought that was over in the 90s. I thought we all got past that. But the thing that doesn't seem real is how can a judge tell a kid he can't play games? Like, how is that even enforceable? And if this kid actually threatened to shoot a school, how is taking away his video games harsh enough a punishment? This just seems like the premise of a really bad, really dark sitcom. Like, it doesn't seem real.
Well, I just think he wasn't.
It's like Jerry makes they make Jerry's somebody the butler, like in Seinfeld. They had George has to be Jerry's butler or whatever the thing was with the sitcom. Like, that's not a real punishment. That's not something that actually can be handed down. So how do you say you can't play video games, young man, and don't shoot up schools?
See, they put his face outside of every GameStop, and they say, don't let this kid buy M or teen games. And that's how they do that. And some Walmarts.
Rhode Island. Rhode Island would be the worst punishment ever. And I'm assuming because there's only like 16 residents there, we don't have any listeners there. But in addition to the proposed video game tax, I don't know if either of you saw this. This isn't in the news that I put up, but I'm gonna introduce it.
Sure.
They want to introduce a porn tax in Rhode Island as well.
Oh my God.
On internet porn. basically what would happen is if they implement this, you would have to pay a one-time $20 fee to access any explicit sexual content online. You would also have to provide them with a signed letter stating that you understand the risks and proper ID in order to have them unlock this for you on your internet connection.
That's just a lot of work.
It is a ton of work.
It's a lot on both ends for useless.
Is
And
this the week of unenforceable laws?
Really, yeah, seriously, like yes.
Well, actually, from there, I want to go to the Twitch guidelines that were just released this week, because those are some other weird rules and laws, I guess, that Twitch made, and we'll see what people think about it right now.
Tell me about this, Jules.
So Twitch made some new guidelines because a lot of people are complaining about some stuff, and they made pretty extensive new set of rules. But here are some of the ones that people were kind of getting upset about or had some questions about. One is there now is sort of a dress code that is going to be enforced on Twitch. Nobody's been suspended yet as of the new guidelines, but they might be. That's what they Twitch said that's going to happen. They're going to probably get suspended or anything. But there is a new dress code saying that you have to have the dress that is appropriate for what you're doing. So if you're working out on stream, because not just people play video games on stream, they do a lot of stuff. They cook and, talk and eat and stuff like that. So if you're, working out, it's okay to wear workout clothes because that's what you're doing. If you're on a beach, it's okay to wear bikini and trunks and stuff. But if you're in a bikini, this is their mindset. If you're in a bikini and you're playing video games or don't have a shirt or anything like that, or lewd or anything, however, by their guidelines, then that's inappropriate and they might flag your content because a lot of people are saying that a lot of gamers with cleavage were using that to gain viewers, money, do things like that. And
I thought that's what Twitch was.
No, not.
It's not?
It shouldn't be.
Okay.
There are actually really good gamers on Twitch, and a lot of people do stream on Twitch. A lot of people stream on Twitch. People cook. I was made aware that people just eat on stream just because, it's really big in Japanese culture or Chinese culture. I forgot which one, but they don't have the time or they don't have the capacity to eat with friends or eat with family. So they just turn on a stream of someone eating and they eat with their favorite streamer. So things like that. It's really big and not just games now. But that was one. You have to be wearing your appropriate dress for whatever you're doing, and that streamers are now, to an extent, responsible for what their fan base is doing. So if we said something, go tweet so and so or whatever, and then they go tweet them like hate speech or tweet them like hate stuff, then we're essentially responsible based on Twitch's new guidelines, stuff like that.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, and they're
so
gonna.
Like when we tell people to go destroy Taylor Swift, we're in trouble for that.
Yeah, on Twitch's guideline, we might be suspended and stuff like that. So now people have like this. I don't know. They're like, we're not responsible for what our fan base is doing, but they're saying Twitch is saying that you are role models and you have to take that into consideration when you say certain things or ask your fans to do certain things and stuff like that. So those are the two things that people are really up at right now about the guidelines. Those are the two main points.
So if you have to dress according to your activity, so if I'm playing Call of Duty, I need to dress up in fatigues.
Sure, that's how Tim takes it. Yes.
Warcraft, I have to put on like some cosplay stuff, like my character.
And a lot of streamers were making fun of that too, because they're like, well, I could just put a green screen of me at a beach and I'm just going to be in trunks. So that's what I'm going to do. And like stuff like that. It's super fun. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen how much they're going to enforce it or not. Nobody's been suspended. So we'll see.
There shouldn't have to be rules like this, but then again, people are jerks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If we're talking about Mr. Rogers, I need to wear a cardigan. Things like that. This is what you need to remember. when you're getting ready to twitch.
Yeah, nobody knows that Nerdy Things Podcast has a dress code, but we never let y'all know what it is. So
Yeah, no, we don't. It's secret.
only for our YouTube only for our
Viewers.
YouTube viewers that you
Well,
see our YouTube dress code. But
I'd better get properly dressed up for the next topic then. So Adam West was left out of the In Memoriam at the Oscars this year.
you look just like Batman.
What? That's weird. How
For the
could
people
that
who just
happen?
listen to the audio of this podcast, Kevin went to put a Batman mask on.
Yeah, you should
What?
change your voice. Okay,
It's
there you go.
So
Wait,
yeah,
it's Kevin the whole time?
Batman himself, Adam West, not the only one left out of the In Memoriam, and I do get that they can't have everybody, but they had 51 people listed in it this year, and they left out dozens more. And really, I think Adam West deserved it. I do. He touched so many lives, and he embraced the fact that he was typecast as Batman. I loved him. I thought he should have made it.
Goofy, fun. He was a character, and still, I mean, no matter how uppity the Oscars is or whatever, he touched a lot of people's lives, and he did a lot for pop culture, for just being a campy character that everybody loved, and positivity. I definitely think he was big there in keeping everybody positive, and yeah, he should have been there.
And
So-
there were apparently over 300 submissions. So,
So here's the thing. Let me ask you this question: Was he ever in movies? Did he make it into movies?
Yeah, there was shortly after Batman, I believe he was in 1 or 2 movies, but he really was he was so typecast as Batman because
Right.
when Batman was originally airing, there was so much controversy over whether it was supposed to be a comedy or not, because he played it so straight-faced that
Right.
a lot of people really thought that he had no idea this was a comedy and that it was only funny because of that. And I mean, he claimed he was in on the joke, but he was definitely typecast as that.
So I like Adam West. I liked his Batman. But just to play devil's advocate, this is the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And if he wasn't a major player in motion pictures, then
Excuse me,
he's not
Batman
in their
the
sphere.
motion picture, Batman the movie.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
not really their thing. So I'm just saying I don't
That's not their
think he really existed in their sphere. So while I can appreciate your perspective, Kevin, I can to some degree understand how they leave him out because he just didn't really play in their universe, so to speak.
All right.
So yeah, quick overview of the Oscars. A lot of movies that some of us saw and a lot of movies that we thought were going to win Oscars won Oscars. And there you go. Coco won best whatever, and some other movies, Shape of Water and all that stuff, we already knew. Those were the big Oscar movies that were going to win the Oscars. So I was not surprised at all.
Keegan-Michael Key's reaction to Jordan Peele winning for Best Writer.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so cool.
Heartwarming. There was so much love in all of that.
That's
I
great.
love those two. They are good.
When he was given an interview after, they were asking him about it, and he's like on the red carpet. He's like, I got a picture. Someone's got a picture. Bring that picture over here. He goes, I stood up on a chair and screamed for about 30 seconds. And then I turned to Colin, which apparently they party with Colin Hanks. And Colin and I hugged for like a minute. And it was awesome. And he was just so excited for his friend. And I thought that was so cool.
Colin Hanks looks so much like his dad. I saw that picture and I was like, wow, that's a young Tom Hanks. No, that's Colin. Yeah.
It's weird because big picture, you look at him and you immediately think Tom Hanks. Mannerisms, everything. But then when you really watch him, you see so much of his mom in his face too. It's such a bizarre combination that he can look so much like both of them.
Oh, he's like a Tom Hanks spinoff. He's got a lot of the elements of Tom Hanks, but some other stuff in it.
True.
Which, we're getting a bunch of Walking Dead spinoffs, apparently, according to Scott Gimple, who's showrunner for The Walking Dead. They're working on a bunch of other stuff for it.
So I saw
Studio Gimple from Studio Gimple.
Studio Gimple.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, they do the anime.
It's Jimple, please. Uh, so I saw the last episode of The Walking Dead, the one with the whole Carl thing,
Coral.
and I was so bored. Oh my god! I was like, just get to it. Get to the thing. We already know some stuff's gonna go down. Get to the thing. And like, I was like, I don't care about this character anymore. You already drew it out this whole hour. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
I see why this is shitty again. I was like, I gave it a chance on that one because I was like, oh, come on, but nope, not
It's
fun.
apparently Walking Dead's apparently still chugging along, even though it's back down to like season 1 viewership numbers. But I don't know. I jumped ship on Fear the Walking Dead after 1.5 seasons. I jumped ship on Walking Dead a full year ago. I just don't care.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. Tell us why you care about The Walking Dead. Call, tweet, text, all that stuff at Nerdy Things Pod, at Nerdy Things Pod. If you're still a fan, and don't say it's because I've already stuck with the characters for this long and I want to. No, that okay, that's cool, but like that's not. The story is interesting. These new characters are interesting. No, give us one of those. If you really like the story, tell us why you like the story. Really like these
And then
other
we'll
characters.
make fun of you.
Yeah, we'll make fun of you. Call
Right.
us and you'll get internet fame for 2 seconds.
I just feel like every season of The Walking Dead is just a ripoff of every other season of The Walking Dead. They think they're safe. Someone big dies. Some big bad shows up, threatens them, and then Rick kills him. There is nothing else that they've ever done with this.
Yeah.
Even this woman hates The Walking Dead.
The woman
Even
behind
this
Tim.
woman over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that's kind of what happened with the whole Disney posters, right? With the solo posters. Like
Yeah.
that's
They ripped
just a
off
huge rip
bunch
off.
bunch of album covers. So
What was that? I'd never
I-
seen these album covers. Apparently they're different albums of jazz, funk, and a bunch of other genres from 2015. And they look exactly like the solo covers. And this guy that made them, he was just like, I just want to get the money that I should have been paid for making these posters. And I just want recognition or whatever. And it's like, well, he has a pretty good case. They look very similar. Same colors, same style, except that the main person behind the colors is like displaced a little bit, but it does look so similar.
I mean, honestly, when I first heard about this, I was of two minds because I'm like, you know what? There's only so many different types of design elements you can have in something like this. So most movie posters emulate one another. So, if you ever have some free time, Google Matthew McConaughey can't stand on his own. You'll see exactly what I mean. Every movie poster he's in where he's the romantic lead, he's leaning on one or more women.
Yeah.
I thought this would be the same thing. Seeing them all side by side, these are the same goddamn pictures.
Yep.
They stole them. They almost took the poses from each one. They just may have flipped them a little bit. But this is blatant. This is awful. This is someone who tried to make these posters and didn't really want to give it any thought, or worse, saw these and was just like, "Oh, I'll just do that.
I'll
And
just do this." Yeah, from this nobody Hachim Bahouse. I'm saying his name wrong probably, but they're like, "Oh, nobody saw
Ghibli.
this." Yeah, there you go. And Bahouse said, "I'm flattered that the quality of my work is recognized, but it is still pure and simple forgery. I have not been asked for my permission. I wish to be credited and paid for this work I have done for Sony."
Yeah,
Give him his money. Just give it
It's
his
just
money.
another shot fired at the Solo movie. I'm really hopeful, but I'm just not optimistic that this is going to be good.
Oh, well, this has nothing to do with the movie itself. This is some
No,
graphic artist that was like stuck, and either he was on a team and he was trying to get his idea ahead of the pitch, or he was the guy that they were relying on and he had nothing to go with. So he goes, nobody's going to ever have seen this stuff. I will copy this, and nobody will have seen it. So they'll put their stamp on it to say, hey, great work, because it's great work.
I contend that this is indicative of the overall oversight on this movie. We will see when it comes out in May.
Do you think that anybody in the production and marketing of this is scouring the internet for images that look like the images that were given to them by the artist that they hired? There's no way.
Okay, no, but you hire better artists.
It was done by an
I'm sure this guy
outside.
has a career. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure this guy has a career, or this team has a
Not
career of
anymore.
doing this. Exactly. Now that's over. But, sometimes you get stuck and you make a questionable decision. But I don't think this has anything to do with the movie and the quality of the movie or anything of that nature.
All right, that's fine.
So that was the whole thing. I've been watching a whole lot of stuff on Netflix. I even started Altered Carbon. I watched the Full Metal Alchemist movie, which wasn't the greatest. But why should I watch Luke Cage? Apparently, there's season 2. The release date is announced in June 22nd. I know I said it looked kind of cool, but I'm kind of not about it.
I got this. I know the answer. You should watch Luke Cage season 2 because it's not Iron Fist with Danny Rand.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. Definitely.
Yeah. No, I'm excited by this. I think that was it Mike Coulter is a great actor. I saw him with Chadwick Boseman recently. They were just hugging, and that was such.
Oh, that's cool.
Thing, the two of them. I think this is going to be great. I love Luke Cage, the character. I love the way that Netflix has done this. I love most of the Defenders. I think this is going to be a great season. Before we even get there, we're getting Jessica Jones season 2 this week.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it comes out either the day the podcast airs or the day after. But that's going to be another season where we have more to explore in this world. So we've got Jessica Jones, we've got Luke Cage coming in. Was it June? Probably getting Daredevil. I know they've a couple of pictures have come out from next season of Daredevil, and we'll probably have to suffer through Danny Rand again. But that's okay. We'll live. We'll all be fine.
Sure. I'm okay. Yeah. I mean, I didn't get into it right at the start. I even stopped watching The Flash just because it's a lot. And whenever I'm looking at it, after it's already come out, I'm like, there's a lot I need to watch. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. And now
I
this
actually
whole
went back to The Flash. The Flash is fine. You just have to kind of take each episode as a silly thing and move on.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I definitely enjoyed it. It was just like there's a lot and I want to finish it. And I'm like, I got other things to do. I got to do a podcast and all that. But that's cool. I mean, I don't know. Apparently there's a lot of those fans out there that love Jessica Jones, Kevin included. I think she's one of your favorites, right? So
for the Defenders, yeah, she's up there. I mean, I honestly love all of them except Danny Rand. It's really sad that I love the secondary characters in Iron Fist much more than I love the main character in Iron Fist.
We should get that person on the podcast.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
That'll be great. That could only end very well.
Poorly. Very poorly.
So today, if you're listening to the podcast when it comes out, or tomorrow for patrons, apparently Nintendo is going to have another Nintendo Direct, like 30 minutes of something, anything, could be nothing.
What?
We don't know. They always just announce.
We know some of it.
What is it? Do you know what it is?
Hold on. Yeah. Well, they gave some of it. There's always surprise stuff on the Nintendo Directs. But they gave a list of certain things they were going to talk about. 3DS stuff. Where is it? Oh, yeah, 3DS stuff. And then the Mario Aces, the tennis game.
No.
Which, I mean, say what you will. I used to play Mario Tennis back on GameCube. That game was awesome. There was a series there for a while where they had the golf game was fantastic. The tennis game was fantastic. And there was the Strikers, the soccer game. That exists for 3DS now. But all three of those were out on GameCube, and they were awesome. So if this is well done, I would love a nice trip down into Mario Sports again. This would be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a 3DS, Tim, or are you going to get one?
I have a 3DS. Why?
You do? Wow. All right.
Well, I've been contemplating selling it for a while, but the Mario Aces is for the Switch, not for 3DS. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
that was one of the new.
No, some 3DS news and Aces, which is coming out for the Switch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play all that stuff. N64, I loved all that. Those Mario sports games, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, N64 games. Loved all those, and those were great. And I'm down. I love Mario. Mario doing things with his friends and frenemies. That's fun.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's got a
maybe Tim will do a thing. Maybe Tim will do a thing for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow.
Maybe. And
If
we're
it's-
almost to where Kirby is coming out next week too. That's a
I
big
love Kirby.
release. Yeah, that's a big release for Nintendo.
He's
They
just
love
super
their
cool.
Kirby games.
Yeah, I'm
That's
totally down.
I
But
mean,
also, it's the Switch anniversary last week. Did you guys even realize that?
no, I
March
missed it.
3rd. That was when I
didn't
came
know.
on the show.
Whoa.
So it's my anniversary, but it's also the Switch anniversary. 1 year now full, the Nintendo Switch has been in our lives and has enriched our gaming experiences. Well,
which is
not
more than
Joel.
we can say about you.
That's true. That's true. So
I'd
Kevin,
rather have
Kevin
just a
and I-
picture of a Nintendo Switch there instead of Tim. Can we do that? Can we make that happen?
We can arrange
do it. I'm all for it.
Don't you
It's
worry.
better than me and the woman back here, okay?
Oh boy.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, you started playing console games again for real this year. I did. It's all because of Nintendo and the portability of the Switch.
That's true. It's 100% true. So I'm not unhappy with that. It's really made me feel better about myself. I have some free time now because I'm not worried about what I have to set up and download and all this, because the Switch is just so easy. You can take it with you. You can stop it at any time. Super happy.
Super fun.
Before this episode's over, I think Kevin should grab a cartridge and just for old times, give it a
For the year anniversary. Just
Maybe.
give it a lick.
Maybe for Patreon.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we've got the Christopher Robin official trailer finally released. Did you guys watch that? Were you able to see it?
Yes.
Yeah. That was interesting. It was kind of like a Robin Williams Peter Pan thing where he's older and it's like, oh, okay, who's this person? And it's like he's already moved on with his life, and then he sees old Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, looking like a little ragged, a little, dark around the edges, not super fluffy and not super yellow, but
Yeah, he looked like some sort of like street urchin, like he's been living in the gutter for
Man, he's a
30
stuffed animal. Well, you've been around for 40 years and you're made of fabric. You would show a little wear and tear too, my friend.
I'm pretty sure he showed more than that. There was definitely something in his eyes. He has killed men. Okay. I'm telling you, he's been living on the streets. It's been a dark time for him.
Listen, as we all know, I am a big fan of continuations of stories where the once child character is now grown up, as referenced in the Peter Pan and Hook analogy that Jules just drew. But so we talked about this Christopher Robin thing, I think way back when it was first announced, and all there was a little conceptual cartoon, and it was in the traditional style. It was like a silhouette of Christopher Robin and the animals. So I was under the impression this was just going to be, I don't know, some child thing. So when I'm watching this storyline, I'm like, why are they talking about serious adult issues? What is Ewan McGregor doing here? Is he going to play someone's parent? And then when I realized he was Christopher Robin, I got so excited because I like that kind of story. And I'm a huge Ewan McGregor fan. He's just genuinely one of my favorites. So I'm actually really excited about this. And I'm not even the biggest, when I was a kid, wasn't the biggest Winnie the Pooh guy or whatever, but
Not really.
I mean, I watched it a little bit. It was okay. But I'm excited for this movie. I think this could be a lot of fun if it's done well.
Yeah, I thought we were getting like a Mr. Banks situation where this was like how they came up with the character, and we're going to see all the behind the scenes, and he's going to see a kid with a bear, and he's going to see a kid with a kangaroo. No, I was happy with this. I thought that bear was going to murder him.
And,
so they are
riding the wave of Paddington and Paddington
Shout out
2,
to the Paddington
whichever
cinematic
combined
universe.
99% friggin' Rotten Tomatoes. They're just riding the stuffed bear wave as far as it can go here.
That's immediately what I thought of when I saw Winnie the Pooh was Paddington, and that's horrible that I made that association.
The dad from Paddington isn't the guy that was yelling at Ewan McGregor, right? There's a different actor.
it's a whole universe.
I don't know. I have no
Winnie
idea.
the Pooh.
They're the same. I'm calling
Winnie
it.
the
Let's find
Pooh's in the
out.
Paddington universe.
Right?
Winnie the Pooh grows up to. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I really hope I get to see all the characters that I really liked in Winnie the Pooh, and so they're real. It's not all in his imagination. What? I guess we'll
Yeah,
have
I
to
don't. Maybe I
find
think
out.
it is all in his imagination, but he's just on that park bench.
He's
like
crazy.
or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um.
Another crazy person's movie.
Yes.
Mary Poppins.
What? She's
Mary
riding
Poppins
a kite
returns.
string. That's so awful.
We got a trailer for Mary Poppins Returns. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, which I love him, and I'm confused why this kite that didn't seem to be attached to anything suddenly has a string that Lin-Manuel and the kid can grab and then pull a woman out of the sky. I always thought it was raining men, but I'm all for equality, so I'm on board. Like, this is good. So
I will say, if you told me, Tim, you're going to see a trailer for a new Mary Poppins and you're going to see a trailer for Winnie the Pooh, I would have bet you a large sum of money that I would have been more pleased with the Mary Poppins trailer. I just think it's an easier thing to do. This didn't get me. I don't get it. I don't see what was happening here. I like Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm excited to see what he could do. I forget who's playing Mary Poppins. I didn't recognize her with her Mary Poppins getup, but she wasn't Julie Andrewsy enough for me. I really needed a bit more sparkle.
Sure.
I
Who's
think it was
talking to the
Michael
mirror?
Rucker. I'm pretty sure her name is
jeez.
Michael Rucker. Rooker.
Michael Rooker. Yeah, so I don't know. This one left me wanting more. It wasn't quite doing it for me. And like I said, I need a little more sparkle from my Mary Poppins than I got from that little 2-second clip right there.
Oh, I don't know. I thought when she was checking her own ass out in the mirror, it was pretty neat.
You are.
When the reflection just kind of looked and was like,
Oh, it is Emily Blunt. Yeah, I like Emily Blunt, but I don't know. There was something. It wasn't. Yeah, sparkle is the only word I can come up with. Julie Andrews was a sparkling woman with
Vibrant,
this
effervescent. Yeah.
kind of tone to her voice, this quality to her voice that was uplifting and cheeky, because that's the word that they used. But yeah, it just didn't have it. But it's 2 seconds. Whatever. I'll give Emily Blunt a little bit more time to convince me.
Sure, yeah, it was a teaser trailer, so we'll definitely see.
Perfect.
But yeah, Winnie the Pooh, all about it.
So you're more excited for Winnie the Pooh?
Way
than the
more.
Mary Poppins.
Not a shock. Not a shock.
Genuinely excited for Winnie the Pooh.
We have any more news, or is it time for the main topic?
I think we're good for news.
All right.
Let's go.
So, as Jules said at the beginning of the episode, this week's topic is the movie Spirited Away, which has been suggested to us a million times by the various people who listen to this, all three of them. So we decided to give it a shot because, as Jules stated, this whole month, I believe it is dedicated to work.
Well, this month is the start of it. So basically what they do is they're going to play, going on to the end of the year, a bunch of Miyazaki films. You can go to fathomevents.com/Studio Ghibli Fest, and you can
Ghibli? Did you say that right? Are you sure?
One of those. You can go. They're going to be playing Miyazaki films all through the year. Starting this month, it's going to be Ponyo. Next month, Cat Returns, and all these other ones, all the great ones, all the way until November when they get through all of them. So you can go watch it on the big screen with a bunch of fans and people that love it.
Did you say all the great ones?
All of them are great.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I haven't seen all of them. I don't know.
This is one of the great ones?
This is probably the great one. So that's why I wanted you to start with this one. And now I'm kind of sad. But again, to everybody listening, Tim hasn't finished it yet.
But we're still going to ruin it.
20 minutes. Yeah, I kind of want a Kevin recap of what's going on in this movie.
Please.
With this,
I've never been more excited for a Kevin recap than this one right here.
Before all that, spoiler alert, this is a really old movie. Tim watched it on Facebook. You can watch. I'd advise you go buy them because you're giving money to Studio Ghibli, but you can watch them on Facebook. They're really weird about streaming. They don't like their stuff on streaming. They don't even like their stuff on iTunes. So you can buy the DVD, or the Blu-rays are coming out soon, or you can watch them in dubbed versions on Facebook. So
Well, how does it get on Facebook then? Because the Facebook Watch channel is supposedly really exclusive in terms of who can and can't post. Like there's a whole application process, approval process. You need
It's
to
not
be,
a it's
you know
not
what
a
I mean?
watch show. It's not a watch thing. It's
But
just
that's how I
a
found
page.
it.
It was on a Facebook Watch page.
That's how I found it. I went to Facebook Watch. I searched Facebook Watch
Oh,
and I
huh.
watched.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know
Doesn't
enough
matter.
about Facebook Watch, and that's how I went to find it.
It's
And I just
fairly
thought
new.
we were very specific about who could and couldn't post there because we talked about doing it and realized we weren't qualified.
True. I don't know.
So,
All
all
right.
right.
But-
Anyways, Kevin.
But yeah, this is
synopsis.
this is an old movie. Go watch it. We're gonna spoil it.
Full
So-
spoilers. We're not going to do non-spoilers. All right. I usually write these down ahead of time so I can organize my thoughts, but here we go. So this is a movie about a family who's moving across country because her dad got a job, and this little girl's in the back of the car freaking out when her dad decides to take a shortcut down this wooden path into the woods, and they find an amusement park that's abandoned. So they go into the tunnel because her dad's the weirdest guy I've ever met. He's like, come on, this will be great. And they go through the tunnel and they find an abandoned town where there's only one restaurant that has food, and they sit down and decide to eat all of the food while she explores. And then her mom and dad turn into pigs, and then the sun goes down and this guy flies in and says, oh my god, you're in trouble, here, eat this before you fade away. And then he sneaks her into the castle, and then he kicks her down a bunch of stairs and tells her to go get work from a spider guy that looks like a thin Dr. Robotnik. And then
Go get a job.
she decides that she's going to go and see the woman who runs the place, who looks exactly like the bird person that she was in trouble when she got seen earlier.
Oh, whoa.
That person says that she can't have a job, and then she says, why did I make an oath to give everybody a job? And she gives her a job in the bathhouse, and then this girl leaves the window open, and No Face comes in and eats a frog and then gives everybody gold, and then this girl gives him what yells at him and makes him spit out all the people, and then she decides she's gonna fix everything by giving back something that her friend stole that was killing him. And so she flies away and gets on a boat and gets on a train and takes No Face with her, and they go to the witch, and the witch turns out to be the good guy, and then they go back, and then everything's fine, and then she leaves that space and goes back, and apparently it's been like 20 friggin' years and no one addresses it because then the credits roll. I'm so confused by the ending of this movie.
So that hurt.
What happened at the
but
end?
I know a lot of people liked it.
What happened at the end?
It was
at the
not
end-
20 years. It was like a couple days.
At the end, right?
Yeah.
They go back through the basically the guy that saved her, whose name I can't recall right now.
Haku?
Haku.
Well, that's not his name, but yeah.
Yeah, Haku, the
Haiku.
spirit of the river. She remembers his name, sets him free. He makes a deal with the old witch that runs the bathhouse that the main character can go free if she can figure out which of a set of pigs are her parents. And she looks at them and she says, none of them are my parents, and wins and gets to go home. And her parents are somehow waiting for her at the door with no recollection of what happened. So she runs back, meets them. They walk back through the path. The building that they went through is now completely different looking. Like it was a red building before. Now it looks like the side of a bridge. Their car has just trees and shit all over it. The path they drove down is overgrown. So it hasn't been days. It's been at least months. And they get in the car and drive away. And then the credits roll. And it's like, you were on your way to meet the movers for the new job. Did the movers show up and unload all your crap and your house has been sitting empty? Do you still have a job?
No,
What is
probably not the
happening?
job thing. He got
Like,
fired. No call, no show for 3 days. That's job abandonment.
Right.
Okay,
That's what
how
I'm
it
saying.
goes.
They gave him some time to move in, so he was like, oh, he's good.
All right, so I want to get back to this at the end because I want to know what the moral of the story is. Not now,
Nope.
in the end. Let's
Right.
start with the fact that this guy is driving an Audi, however you want to say it, more pronunciation talk from the Nerdy Boys, down. He's going off-roading in an Audi sedan.
Yep.
Why? What
He's
is
got that
going
new
on
job.
in this guy's
He's
brain?
got that new job money.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
he's got no brain. I mean, he showed that. This
Can
guy.
you
Obviously.
imagine if we showed this to Chris Baird from work? what he would say if he saw that car going down that off-roading path?
Right? He'd freak out. I mean,
He'd have a heart attack and die.
He would. This is not a car that was meant for this, and this guy was going way too fast.
Way too fast.
Okay, he was going way too fast.
Why was he going so fast? His daughter and his wife were saying, "Don't go so fast," and he's just like, "Ah." That was my anime face. I don't know if you picked up on that.
That's actually really good. You could be a anime voiceover, but
I'm pretty sure you are a character. Yes.
Yeah. I don't even know where to start. Let's talk about
amusement park is this? Where were the rides? All it was a bunch of houses. There was no rides. There was a bunch of restaurants. All of them were closed except for this one where they're eating like slug flesh without asking any questions. And then they go to a bathhouse. Guys, what's a bathhouse?
That's all Japanese.
It's what it sounds like. It's a house where you go in and take a bath.
You don't know what a bathhouse is?
If I asked you what's a bathhouse, like legit, what would you say?
Exactly.
Money laundering.
Google bathhouse for me.
Yeah, I know. Here where you are, that has a much different connotation to it, but it is exactly what it sounds like.
Okay, where they just go and take baths.
Bathhouse Spirited Away. That's what comes up.
Oh,
and
boy.
they have bathhouses in amusement parks because everybody's getting so sweaty.
Not necessarily an amusement park. This is just, and besides, yeah, maybe they do, but this is a weird place, Tim. Like this is.
I know.
Life.
But this is the thing with anime that I don't understand. And listen, Courtney, who's with us right now, my apologies. I know you're an anime fan. People are anime fans. Why don't they make any sense? Why are they all so outlandish?
They do make sense in their tradition because all of this stuff is brought in from different traditions. Their culture kind of.
Well, then why am I watching it? Why do I want to watch it?
It's really good. A lot of people.
None of it makes any sense from the start.
New things.
The premise from the beginning in my culture makes no sense. And then I continue on with these characters that they don't tell me anything about. The girl is like grown up, a little bit of a grown up female Caillou. She just whines and makes inappropriate reactive expressions to things that are going on. I don't understand it.
So a few things. Courtney did say the moral of the story is don't eat food that's not yours. Also, always trust dudes with beards.
100%.
And she said you're an uncultured swine because you didn't know what a bathhouse is.
No, but I know what a bathhouse is, but it means something totally different in the context that I'm aware of it.
Sure.
Once again, Google bathhouse.
And that's
all I'm going to say.
But this was a 10-year-old girl. This was made for like 10-year-old children, and it did have one good thing about it one of the good things about this movie is that it does have a female protagonist that didn't depend on anybody really. She didn't do things out of what we usually see female protagonists do it for. I mean, she just had overwhelming love for things. She was friend to No Face after he ate everybody, and that was kind of cool just because she's a child, and it was just like, hey, come along with me, all your friends. I don't know if you got to the little, I don't know how far 30 minutes away from the end is.
I did. No Face just spit up the frog man and the other frog lady.
Sure. Yeah. So then
why are they fleshy colored frogs? Why are there flesh colored? Why is the one frog green and all of the other frogs are human colored frogs?
You're not going to get answers.
No, you're not. And again, this is made for like 10-year-old children and 10-year-old girls that just want to feel a thing.
I thought anime was for adults. Isn't that the thing? Isn't it cartoons for adults? I thought that's what this was.
Not all of them. No. This one isn't.
Adults, especially in the US, a lot of adults latch onto it. I mean,
and once again, why am I watching this? This is my fundamental question with anime. If it doesn't make sense in the context of my culture, if I don't know what these things are and mean, if it's not meant for someone of my age range, and it doesn't make sense, why am I watching it?
Oh my God.
Do you just watch stuff from just your culture, from just American culture?
I know, but if I do, it's something that I understand. Like, you tell me this is an amusement park and there's no rides. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Her dad said it was an amusement park. He was trying to interpret it. It wasn't an amusement park. It wasn't supposed to be an amusement park.
Then why did they tell me it was?
So definitely you're taking a lot of things very literal, and it's not literal at almost at all. I don't think
This is an amusement park, but this symbolizes that it's not an amusement park.
No, but a lot of things do symbolize a lot of different stuff. But I
But
want
when you
to
tell
get
me it's an
into
amusement park and you don't try and make some sort of like symbolism, some sort of parallel, then to something else, if it's not supposed to mean anything more, then why call it an amusement park? I don't get it.
that's Tim's super tweets on Twitter, not Nerdy Things Pod. So I want to talk about the art style. What did you think of the art style? I really do love it. And well, let's take a step back. A lot of people do really love this movie enough to them getting tattoos of No Face, getting tattoos of different Miyazaki films, all that stuff. There's a huge culture. Obviously, Studio Ghibli Fest just started last year, but this has been a long thing coming, and a lot of people really love this movie. And Courtney included, she did say this was her favorite movie, probably of all time. So this definitely does have a backing for it, and there are people out there that really love this movie and art style and stuff.
Adam Savage went as No Face to Comic-Con like 3 years ago. He made this whole costume about it. It was actually really cool. In hindsight, at the time, I had no idea what the hell it was.
Sure. But I wanted to start off. Let's go into like the art style and the way it did look. What did you think about that?
I thought 17 years later, it stands up. I mean, it was really kind of beautiful. Everything about it. Like there were even a couple of scenes in it, I think, where it kind of, you're following it and it's turning into other things. Just the way that everything melded together was just breathtaking. The way they animated the little paper birds that were attacking was just great. Everything about it, I thought, really worked well.
You know what I thought was really cool? You say 17 years later, it stood up. When they first came into the amusement park, and then there's a big field and like a cliff on the other side, and the grass is flowing, and they're playing this kind of soft piano music in the back. It could have been the opening sequence of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
There was the whole vibe of the art style and the music.
Oh, that's something I want to get into too. Yeah,
was very much in the same style that they used in Breath of the Wild, and I consider that to be one of the most beautiful video games ever made.
And that is why you should be watching this type of thing, because this is what a lot of that is paying homage to. The reason they chose cel shaded was not just because it fit the processor of the Switch.
Sure,
it's also really good looking.
Yeah.
And that's this style. That's part of it. Plus, especially with Breath of the Wild, you see a lot of the influence of other cultures in that, in the way that you have, fairies and you have dragons and you have all. So that 100% tracks.
And if any of it made any sense, I would love to watch a movie with this type of art style.
No, it never will. But see, part of the reason it's not going to make sense to you is you do not have the basis for the understanding yet. I mean, this is the type of thing where if you watch a lot of anime, you start to pick up on common themes throughout them. And it comes down to the culture that they come from. It comes down to the stories that they heard growing up. It comes down to the fairy tales and legends. People turning into birds seems to be a really common one. I watched preparation for this also Howl's Moving Castle, because my wife has wanted to watch that for a long time. And they did the same type of thing where the witches and wizards just turned into bird people. We saw that in this with at least the witch, but also with
Baba.
And even the names of those are similar to some of the names of these witches in that culture. All of it fits together in weird ways. It's almost like a superhero movie where you're watching different superhero iterations and different origins of them, but they have similar themes. Same damn thing.
Yeah, so it's definitely this movie and a lot of his other movies and anime and things like that, they have different incarnations of sort of the same thing, and they adapt those incarnations into their story. And because the people that have grown up hearing stories about it, living through it, where this certain spirit's gonna help guide you today, or this certain spirit's evil or something like that. They definitely grow up with that, and then when you see it in the movie, it's like, oh, this is the incarnation of this witch that I'm not supposed to, or whatever. The spirit world. This is the spirit world. They said the bathhouse. This is where the spirits go to rest and all that stuff. And it's definitely just uh, showing you in animation style what somebody's interpretation of some of the stuff is. And there is one character that isn't from any of that stuff, and then I think we'll get into that a little bit. But you did mention the music. Rewatching this, I almost forgot how amazing this music was with this movie. I mean, it's super just classical, straight up classical music, and it just fits so well with what was going on screen. It was just good classical music in general, to where I think I can listen to the album if it just came out. They do have the Spirited Away album, but this was just fantastic music. I don't know. Did it add anything for y'all to the what was going on screen?
Oh yeah, I thought it was beautiful. I did think the music set the tone for it, and I thought it worked very well.
I loved all of the production elements of it. I liked I'll call it cinematography, even though it's animated. I loved how it was shot, or how they framed the images. I liked the art style. I loved the music. I loved all of the production elements of it, except for the voice acting.
You watched it dubbed, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Like, am I supposed to watch the original? Because I just looked it up, and the girl who played Sen, or whatever her actual
Chihiro?
name was, Chihiro. It's actually Devi Chase, who played Samara or whatever from The Ring.
Yep.
And this was around the same time, but she was really terrible and annoying in this version.
Yeah, usually the Japanese
some of the reactions, and again, maybe this is how they pronounce things there, or their dialect style in Japan, but like when she's going to where her parents are the first time, and she yells at them, "Not get any fatter because they will eat you." I don't see that as to how I would say that. It was very strange to me. Like
it translates better in Japanese.
Yeah, it was the tone of it, whatever it was. Like she was yelling at them, like, "Whatever you do, don't eat any more food, otherwise they will eat you, and they will eat you." And the reactions they just didn't make sense in the context of where they appeared a lot of the time.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I think that does happen a lot in older anime. I think they got better at kind of gauging the reactions to what's on screen. I don't know. That was something that I'm thinking about now, where it's just like, it was a little weird, but if you watched it in Japanese and you saw the subtitles, it's like, it might have just translated a little better if it was Japanese. But this is the closest we can get in English to what it is, and then the voice actor had to read that.
Yeah, and I mean, Tim, you're not wrong. She did spend a lot of this movie just yelling for no goddamn reason
and whining a lot.
Yes, and I did.
For somebody who was a kind-hearted character, she whined a lot.
Yes, and a lot of what she did was just weird, but weird by what standards? Because this whole movie was weird.
No, yeah, I mean, I definitely take it with a grain of salt. She was a 10-year-old child figuring out about the spirit world, and dragons are real. And apparently she did see this dragon that she had to immediately work in a bathhouse because her parents turned into pigs, and that was real. And how would you as a young child react in seeing these spirits that you knew only were in fairy tales, and what you kind of grew up with is real, and this is an actual spirit world, and this is who, and this is what. And
I mean, I feel like a lot of this was a setup. Originally she's told, hold your breath while we cross this bridge. She's given really no warning that she's going to have to hold her breath. They just kind of stroll up, and he's like, "Oh, BT dubs, or we'll die." And so she holds her breath for 90% of the trip across before she gets seen. She finally gets a job. She sees some guy standing outside the bathhouse, so she leaves the window open for him, and it turns out to be No Face, the evil demon that's here to kill them all. And, you'd think that'd be part of orientation. All right, so over here, this is the tub. Over here is where you get the soap and the water. Oh, and also don't leave the window open or we'll all die.
Right.
Definitely. There was I would hate to live in that bathhouse and work there like on the daily, because it feels like your life is in danger almost every day. It just one thing after another just kept happening, and it's like, oh, I don't know. This is being a spirit or being someone that helps the spirits is very dangerous.
First day on the job, and they get her to clean the big shit tub. First thing shows up is a Golgotha, a giant shit demon from one of Kevin Smith's movies. And she winds up pulling a bicycle out of this guy's gut for no reason.
Not just a bicycle, like a house. It was like it was like a storage shed. Just
there were refrigerators, there were washing machines. I'm sure there were human remains in there. And all of a sudden, it's this luck dragon that spits out a
dirty river spirit.
She spends the rest of the movie biting off chunks of this shit that it put in her hand and shoving it in people's mouths.
It's like his gallstone.
Seriously, like, what are you doing? Why?
But this is the other thing. Again, I don't know. Maybe it's my lack of understanding, but it seems like in all of the animes that I've watched, events just occur. There's no setup or link or development to any of it. It's like, here, you're in the spirit world. We think we're not really establishing what this place is. We're just giving you a tidbit, and your only way to survive is to get a job. Wait, why? Doesn't matter. Get a job. But who do I get it from? Doesn't matter. Get a job. Don't let them say no. Just keep asking. Go meet this Spider-Man, and then go up an elevator with this other girl who's pretending to like you. Are they really?
Don't let him trick you. Don't leave. And then he's like, you got to go talk to this woman. And she's like, oh, okay, cool.
Leave your shoes, though. Don't bring them. And then meet this lady and just keep asking, I want a job. Please give me a job. Please give me a job. But I want a job. And there's a giant baby. And why is there a giant baby? And then there's this other monster. And here's your job, but we're not going to train you on it. We're just going to tell you to do things as they go.
Go scrub thumb.
A world where there's evil spirits, but we don't warn you to leave the doors closed or to not feed this one or to it's just events unfold and there's no support behind them. And then we get to the end, and again, I didn't get to the end, but we heard the moral of the story is don't feed food to strangers.
No, that's
what is this a symbol for? So, or do we ever establish how she got in the spirit world, or why, or what that even meant? What does it mean to her future? What does it mean to her past? Are any of these questions answered? Is there anything significant to the story?
No. But that's indicative of this type of movie. Like, a lot of anime is exactly this. I told you, I watched Howl's Moving Castle. Quick overview of that. I'm not going to give it the whole Kevin treatment, but it's this girl who finds herself in this battle between good and evil. And in that, it's this Sophie who gets turned into an old woman by an evil witch. And so she then goes into the mountains and boards this castle that walks around and becomes the cleaning lady for the wizard that lives there. And he knows it's a little girl. He saved her at the beginning of the movie. He's the reason she's caught up in all of this, but he doesn't tell her any of this. And she starts cleaning his crap, and then time passes and he turns his castle into her old house, and just seemed like he was torturing her with this thought that her family had moved on without her, but she's living in the same space doing the same damn thing, kind of caught under his thumb. And she saves him with love, much like happened in this movie. And she never becomes a little girl again. She becomes younger looking ish, but that's about it. Like, there was a prince in it that loved her and she didn't love him back, and it was the same type of thing where things just happen. It's like stream of consciousness type stuff where it borrows elements from stories, it borrows thoughts from fairy tales and all of this stuff, and just kind of puts it all together, and it doesn't have to make sense.
But here's the thing,
is the story.
We always say that it doesn't have, like, this is what I hear about anime. Oh, well, it does. It's Japanese and you don't get it and this kind of stuff. All right. So let me flip, because we talk about movies for a living. We talk about movies semi-professionally here on the Nerdy Things podcast. Let's say that this was a live-action American-made movie where the youngest Fanning sister played Charo Sen, whatever her name is, and Ansel Elgort played the boy dragon, and that the Spider-Man was I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Like, cast these characters as American actors that we're familiar with, and we would talk about this movie, and we go, well, I saw a movie this week, and it didn't make any sense, and it didn't establish a storyline, and it didn't tell me about the characters. And in the end, I didn't know why she got there or what this place exactly was, and I wasn't left with any impression on the lasting effect that this made in her life. So there was no substance. We would like, maybe I'm being wrong. Again, I think people kind of tiptoe around anime because there is this love for it, but we would rip this thing apart for all of the things that you said it just doesn't have to have. If this was in the realm of our normal movie, we would tear it apart. If this was a DC movie, you would be smashing it on the head with a hammer and talking about how Warner Brothers needs to get out of the film comic book business.
While that's true, if DC came to me and said, listen, we made a movie, it stars the Joker, it's set in 1989, it has nothing to do with Jared Leto, it's just Martin Scorsese's on board, but we know it doesn't connect to the others, and we want you to just take an emotional component out of this movie, and a lot of the visuals don't make sense, but they represent other things, then I would watch the movie and I would try to figure it out, and I would see if it had that emotional component, and I'd know what I was in for. And that is exactly what anime is. Anime isn't about telling you the whole story. It's about making you feel those emotions. It's about that emotional component more than anything else, and giving it to you in a visual way with characters that have attributes that they represent. I mean, they're really not, there's not a lot of subtext to it in a lot of cases. The people that look evil are often evil, or they look evil so that you know they aren't. And it's really a lot of clarity in that, but they're not trying to give you the whole story. They want to just.
But it seems like a cop out. It just seems like I can do things this way, but then there's a real way to do things where you actually establish a storyline and develop characters. We're just going to choose not to do it that way, but it's going to be okay because we said we can.
I feel like with anime, they drop you into this spot, and it's not that they don't have the storyline or anything. It's just they haven't told you the story.
Yeah, but that's not good filmmaking. Like that's I guess. All right, and I'm not gonna win this, and there's no winner or loser. But this has always been my problem: is people say, well, it's anime, it doesn't have to do that. But it's a movie, and there are certain elements that comprise a well-crafted movie, and we rip movies apart to determine what makes it good and not good. That's what we do here. But then when it becomes an anime, we throw all that out the window, and all of a sudden it doesn't have to do the things that we expect from every other movie that we review.
I think it's because with anime characters, they are pretty much everything that they show in an instance. Like, they are trying to represent something. So you said that the 10-year-old girl is super whiny and stuff like that. That's her. You can almost assume that all the characters are how they show themselves in. If you see somebody that's super caring and stuff, they're over caring, and they show that you can definitely assume. And I agree with you that it doesn't show everything, but you can definitely assume that's the way the person is. So, and I don't know why I don't get that feeling whenever I watch anime. I never say, oh, I don't understand it. I'm always just thrown in there expecting, okay, I'm going to learn a lot about characters. I'm going to learn a lot about a story.
But what did you learn about? No, hold on. You said you learn a lot about the characters. What did you learn about that girl?
I didn't learn not about this one.
She knows how to pull bicycles.
But this is the great one. Everybody was telling me I need to watch better anime, and this is supposedly one of the great ones. And then you say this is why anime is good, and then I say, well, what about in this movie? Well, I don't have an example, but this is a great one.
Because of the art style.
I don't understand why in anime we put it beyond criticism, and that it's just some magical thing that doesn't need to exist within the constructs of what makes a good story.
So here's the thing. Let's you're not wrong. You're right. Let's make an analogy though. Let's say that this is like architecture. You are to design a building that has enough housing for a certain number of people. And you can do that really efficiently. And that's what a lot of movies that we see are. There's nothing extraneous in the movie. It's just apartment, 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 apartment. This is like doing that, but having a beautiful courtyard in the middle. What's the point of the courtyard except to look good? And a lot of these are just there to have that moment where you pause, and it doesn't serve any purpose to living there, but you can look at it and it's nice. That's legitimately it. That's all.
But if you build the building without a foundation, it's going to fall over. That's why there's certain rules to how you construct things, a story, a building, and otherwise. And when you skip the fundamental elements of that construction, the building collapses.
And
all right.
I'll go ahead and, I mean, this is one of the great ones because it did win a lot of awards for best film. Some people are calling it the best anime ever made or anything like that. People say the art direction, all that stuff. I'm going to tell you personally why I really like this one, just because it does really look good and it's a fun ride. I mean, I'm not saying it's the most in-depth anime out there. I'm not saying I love the character, the main character. I'm not saying I love Haku. This is why all of them are really there's different subsections of anime where you like them for different reasons. And like Kevin was saying, this one looks really pretty. The music is really pretty. Those are what make this sort of a thing. And because it was a fun ride, maybe the first time you saw it, it was just like, holy crap, what's going on? And if you're along for the ride, then it's like, okay, this is super fun and this is interesting and they look really cool. You know what I mean? What's a no face? I can definitely, I mean, I want to go into that a little bit, but
yeah, he confused me with his
sure, but
no face except for he does have a face and a mouth, and he eats.
That was a mask. Yeah,
but I'm just going to do this one more time, and then I swear I'm done.
Sure,
I agree with all of what you just said, but that's why I say it's, to me, a cop-out. Because let's say you did a movie that was just as beautiful, just as emotional, had just as fun a ride, but you incorporated all of the traditional storytelling elements where I actually learned something about the character, became emotionally invested with them, got a moral or some sort of like life lesson or some sort of message thing to ponder at the end that I was left with. Imagine how much better the movie could be if it took all of the things that it does really, really well, but didn't skip all of the fundamental steps of constructing an actual story and movie.
So you're talking about Stephen King's The Stand, which was like 8 hours long.
It doesn't have to be 8 hours long because we make movies like this all the time. It could just be an animated version that's just as beautiful, that has just as bizarre a storyline, but actually, so the never-ending story. The never-ending story is, it's equal in bizarreness in every way. Those characters are wacky, wild, but I learn about my main character. I learn in the first couple scenes, I learn what he's gone through, what he's going through, where his emotional journey is, and then his parallels on the other side, we learn and become invested in them, and I am left with a tremendous emotional feeling because of it's beautiful and wild and crazy and fun, but I also actually went through a real story that involved all the storytelling elements that have been established for centuries as fundamental to good storytelling. I mean, it just seems like a cop-out to me that we say, oh, because it's beautiful. Think of a summer blockbuster movie that was beautiful and gorgeous and the CG was amazing, but we say the story makes no sense and it was garbage, so the movie was garbage. Transformers, beautiful, really well done.
1 million people
Great
love
look,
that.
but it's trash.
But 1 million people love it.
Not that many people, because it did tank at the box office and people make fun of it and rail on it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So how about that no face, huh? With the mask and the mouth and the...
So no face. No, okay. Well, that I definitely wanted to hear what you're thinking, and that's totally cool. And why don't I mean, again, it's for some people and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But we do definitely want to hear your thoughts on, I guess, anime in general and Spirited Away and stuff like that. So don't forget, you can always reach us at Nerdy Things Pod on pretty much anything. And we would love to hear your opinions on what's going on with anime and all that stuff. But
Jules, you know this means Tim's going to make us watch sports, right? As revenge.
Well, I already have to watch the fucking, what do we say? Not Transformers, the other one. Not Power Rangers, the other one.
Voltron?
No.
No.
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
Oh, that was Kevin's idea, not my idea.
I'm not a fan.
I was off Pacific Rim when
we
I
were gonna have to watch
Jack
that.
Keller wasn't in it, so
Right?
Oh God. So No Face isn't exactly based on anything. This is a Miyazaki original kind of character, and its Japanese word is koanashi, and it is a metaphor for the libido that everybody secretly harbors. So that's what, it would always try and offer her some food. It would always offer her gold and things like that. It would offer people everything, but still you know, she wasn't phased by it and her love and over, all that stuff. But since it was a movie created for a 10-year-old girl with a setting of an old Japanese brothel, it might not be far-fetched to assume Miyazaki made Koanashi to give off a certain message about over-attachment and finding your own way, even though the world is a little confusing, tempting place to get lost in. Plenty to think about. So that's kind of what was interesting about No Face. A lot of people do kind of associate themselves and things, and they get their tattoos, and they really like that character because it does symbolize this thing that overindulges and it is never satisfied, and people are just okay with that, and people just kind of gave into the gold, even though it was fake. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that's a super cool character that I really did enjoy, that I really like, and a lot of people really do like, kind of like Totoro and things like that. This one had its own No Face character, and that's what that meaning is. But yeah.
I mean, I get Tim's point. As I said, I was not satisfied with the ending of this movie. I really wanted to have just like 4 minutes more. Even if they just got to the house and someone else was living there, I would have felt better about this. I feel like this was such a nothing cop-out ending where they went back to the real world and just picked up where they left off. But time had passed and we got no explanation of that.
Dorothy goes to Oz. She comes back. We understand why she was there. We understand what each character meant in relation to somebody in her real life. They resolved the actual symbolism of the journey she went through. Where was that?
That's very different. Yeah, she didn't. There was no.
How is it very different? It's literally the same story. You get transported to someplace else that you're unfamiliar with, which crazy things happen. When that happens, it should mean something else. Like that's,
I know. I'm saying that's very different because it didn't mean anything, because she didn't see any characters that she already knew. We just got thrusted into this story, and
well, that's not entirely true. She knew the spirit from the lake.
The lake river, Haku. But
Haku.
What I'm saying, I don't know why. Well, then tell me why I like it, Tim. I don't know why I like it. Why do I like it? Why was I okay with?
I'm always looking for someone to explain.
Why was there a ton of people okay with the ending? Why was everybody?
Because but this is what I'm saying. People always try and say, "Well, I really like it," and then I get them to try and articulate why, and nobody can ever seem to articulate why. And then you said, "Well, I like the character because I learned something about them," and then I say, "Well, what did you learn?"
About anime. I said that about anime in general.
But if this is the best. So then what did you like about it?
I already told you. I said I like the art style and I like the music and I like the journey and the
like
fun.
The pretty pictures.
Yes, it was very beautiful. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking you, why do I like it then? Why was I okay with the story being subpar in your eyes? And why am I okay with this whole thing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why when we watch beautiful movies that are American-made movies and they have crappy storylines, we rip them apart.
Tokyo Drift is a very beautiful movie that I really liked that had a shit story. Tokyo Drift's cars, holy crap. Those look beautiful.
I mean, Star Wars is
that's one of my favorite.
If you really look at the story of Star Wars, it is a shit show. But I love that movie.
Yeah, I don't know why I liked it. I don't know why I like Miyazaki films. They look beautiful. The classical music was fantastic. The story was just like me going on a roller coaster that was there in the amusement park, Tim. I'm okay with
the last 5 minutes.
I'm okay with it. So
5-minute ride, I would have been fine.
Sure, I would love Courtney, if you would love to just tweet us or anything, why you love, or anybody really, why do you love anime and what is it? And whenever it does lack the story that a lot of animes have, a lot of animes do have this representation of certain things, but when it does lack in some places, why do we still like it? I would love information and would love your opinions on why. and stuff like that. And I'm sure Tim would love it too. But yeah, it's definitely just an opinion thing. It's not he's right or I'm right or anything. It's just like, hey, that's what I
No,
like,
exactly.
and that's what you like.
Sometimes it's an acquired taste. So do we want to rate this movie, or do we just want to let that die for this one because it's a movie people are going to like and people are going to hate? Perfect. I say we let this just slide.
Sure. I thought we would do that only for like new movies that came
Well,
out.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is
Sure.
a movie that has passed the bar. People either like it or people either hate it. So I mean, I enjoyed this movie. I really did. I enjoyed this movie enough that I am going to watch My Neighbor Totoro and a couple of others, just because. I mean, it's not that I've avoided anime up to this point. I've seen plenty of it. These were just some that slipped under my radar. So, Tim,
And I wouldn't. I was thinking about this week because I was watching a lot of anime and stuff, and there are like multi-season animes that give you a ton of story about characters and all that stuff, but that takes a long time, and that's
Yeah.
like I don't know if I want to give that to you know what I mean, like
Well, I love John Turturro, so maybe I'll give that one a shot.
oh yeah, same thing.
My Neighbor John Totoro. It's a very good movie.
But yeah,
yeah,
that was our thoughts on Spirited Away, and please reach us on all the things. Leave us a voicemail and text and all that stuff. I'll tell you how to do that right now. But we would love your opinions on Spirited Away, anime in general, anything like that. Which one's your favorite Ghibli movie? But we'll definitely hear y'all and respond this week about all that stuff. Yeah. Don't forget, you can reach us on most social media at NerdyThingsPod, at NerdyThingsPod. You can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily and links to our merch for shirts and more. Links to YouTube. What happened?
What the
hell
Kevin just took
happened?
over my computer?
What is this?
That's My Neighbor John Totoro.
Oh my God. I was like, oh, how did you make that full screen on my computer? Links to our merch for shirts and more at nerdythingspod.com, Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. You can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. Thank you, Tim, for our voicemail. We would love some more voicemails, love some more iTunes reviews, please. We have a place where you can subscribe to us, nerdythingspod.com/subscribe. nerdythingspod.com/subscribe. You can find all the places with links, how to listen to us, watch us, all that stuff. We're on Spotify. We're on a bunch of other places, YouTube. Like I already said, go nerdythingspod.com/subscribe if you want to find us on a different platform than you're already listening to us. I'd like to thank Adipsia for the use of his song, Friends Only Friends Go to TGI Fridays. You can hear more of his music at adipsia.bandcamp.com. He just released a new album called Imbue.
Imbue!
And I'd like to thank the bell curve for the music we use under the main topic.
All right. See y'all later.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
All right. What number is it?